Hey everyone, it's Brad and Josh here, and we welcome you back, or for the first time, to We'll Bring the Popcorn, your favorite film and TV podcast.
I do want to move us now into our first film review of the week. So we have the newest film from Disney and Pixar called Elio. This is the story about a young boy named Elio who's very much a social outcast, kind of awkward, quirky kid that feels very alone in the world, suffering from a very tragic a tragic death of both of his parents that leaves him living with his aunt Olga, who is voiced by the wonderfully talented Zoe Saldana in this film. But, you have this kid who's, dealing with the traumatic, death of his parents and trying to find his place in the world, has no friends kind of thing. It's kind of a formulaic Disney type of story that they've kind of come up with lately. But I got to say, man, the animation alone on this film was breathtaking. Like, this film was very beautifully animated. The story, I think, was very cute, but let's get into talking a little bit about this film here. What did you think of it off the top of your head here?
Yeah, I took my kids to it to see in 3D, which I think the 3D worked well for it. It's a visually beautiful film. I do think this is kind of a weird one for Pixar that I think it was missing a little bit of that Pixar charm. Like, it was kind of a pretty flat, straightforward storyline. There's some things that I get why they put it in there, but it didn't really service anything but like one reveal. And I'm talking about, like, he gets an eye patch over his eye because he got poked in the eye, and that's on for the entirety of the movie until they need to realize. And we're going to do some spoilers. This has been out now a little over a week that we've gone in there, that, once Elio leaves the planet, gets abducted and stuff, they send a clone back to take his place so his aunt won't know that he's gone. And the eye patch only served a purpose in the movie to reveal that it was a clone and stuff. There's some little nitpicky stuff like that, but once he got up to the, what do they call it, the communiverse, it was kind of just basically straightforward. Like, all right, yeah, I'm the representative of Earth. Oh, I have to deal with this hard alien. And that's kind of just like flat. Like, you're still dealing with Elio's crisis of not feeling like he fits in and trying to befriend an alien and stuff. But I think it was a little more flat when it came to that. Like, you could have a really decent emotional pull with this film. I'm not saying it's a bad film in any way. I just think it didn't have that Pixar charm because it just, I don't know, it just didn't hit right. But, and then we know that it bombed a little bit with its opening too, which Elemental did, and Elemental ended up having a long run. But this one's going to be quite a lot different to see if it can kind of have that run that Elemental did.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of room to kind of rebound and see what it does, which is surprising because, like I said, I literally went and saw this. We're recording this on a Saturday. I literally went and saw this film yesterday. Obviously, with my trip to California and everything, it was hard for me to make time to see these films. So I've shotgunned all three of these films in the last 5 days. So they're still very fresh in my mind, but I went on a Friday afternoon and our theater was packed. Like, it had a ton of people in it. So I don't know if that's indicative of others, if it's going to have a bounce back week and it kind of holds steady and doesn't have a significant drop off. Maybe word of mouth helps the film a little bit. I don't know, but I kind of agree with you that it felt a little formulaic and a little like beat by numbers, where there wasn't as much emotional depth to this film. Hopefully, like, you can kind of feel the sadness of the character and you can kind of find yourself relating to him a little bit, but I don't know if it had the same charm as some of the other films. I don't think it's worthy of some of the criticism that it's getting online by some people. Like, I think it's a little bit slept on. I could see this film becoming more of a bigger hit when it gets onto streaming, if that makes any sense, if it doesn't recover well enough on in the box office, because there's just so many films coming out right now. Like, it's a super hot time. Like we were just talking about, we have a few weeks here where there are multiple movies that we have to see that are just, and we're just a couple, guys that, have a little bit more liberty to go do that. And it's a lot harder for you, even for you. Like, it's just you going to see some of these and not, dragging your whole family out to see them. And it's harder for families to do that. But this film itself, like, I feel like I said, visually gorgeous, gorgeously animated film. Let's not take anything away from the people that worked hard on it. Like, visually, it's a stunning, animated feature that they did a phenomenal job on. I think the heart of the story is a little lacking. It's a cute movie. Like, it's a cute movie. It tells a story. It tells a story well of this kid who's just trying to find his place in the world. He feels like he finds some place that accepts him, but he's a little devious and, not being completely truthful. But the kid is out of control, lashing out a little bit, but it's kind of understandable given the tragic circumstances. That's how some kids deal with that.
The thing is, we don't really learn what the tragic circumstances were with losing his parents. Like, most of the time you get to learn something about the character losing the parents, but we really didn't learn anything about it. Like, he's living with his aunt now, which I would say Zoe, she's great in most things. This was kind of flat because we're dealing with an aunt who never had kids, doesn't have a partner or anything, so it's just her and Elio. And she's also has a career. She works for the military in their space program. She's an analyst, working with satellites and data and everything else, but she wants to be an astronaut. Yeah. And we only get those parts like, hey, they're here about the astronaut program. Oh, I can't. Oh, they're here about this astronaut. I go, I can't. They're here. Like, that's about all the depth you get out of her. Like, you do get, there's a hardship between. She's not ready to be a mom. She had, kid thrust on him. This is kind of a standard type of, story we get. I just rewatched the first Megan movie in preparation of watching Megan 2.0, which is very similar. That kid's parents are dead, has to go live with the aunt. The aunt's not prepared to have a kid around. They don't know what to do. It's very similar in here. It's that standard tried and true. Well, I'm a parent now to a kid, and I don't know how to be a parent. So she ends up sending Elio off to a military boot camp because she just doesn't know how to handle the kid, which adds that extra to him. Like, well, now my aunt doesn't want me. Sure. I've got these kids that, unfortunately, I did some bad stuff too, wants their revenge. And so while he's about to get beat up, he gets his abduction to the aliens, which that whole universe was gorgeous to look at. Like the joke about being in the bathroom, which is this wonderful waterfall of bright and colorfulness and stuff. Like, there was some cute things with it, but like I said, it just didn't have that connection that you really felt for Elio or not, because he wasn't. In the end, he's an out-of-control kid who did whatever he wanted to do, even when it came to the communiverse, because he's lying that he's the leader of Earth and that he's an adult and he has all this power and control, and he ends up befriending the son of a warlord alien race that wants to be a part of this commune, but they won't allow him because all he does is war, and that's Brad Garrett's again popping up in more, Pixar stuff, which you can always tell his voice whenever he's in anything. And I mean, there was a touching moments with him and stuff, but it just felt like you get some resolution and some touching growth between his aunt and with Elio and his friend and everything else. But I don't know, there's something that was just missing from this film that most Pixar films have.
Yeah, it didn't feel like you connected as heavy and felt it the way you would feel in some of the other Pixar films, and it kind of felt like they shoehorned the connection between Elio and his aunt towards the end too, where you don't know how they bond, and like, does it really make sense that this is what bonds them together? Is the fact that she knows that she finds that he's a clone and she misses the kid.
I have a really good kid now. Where's Elio?
Right, like, this isn't the kid I know. Like, he turned on a dime that quick. Couldn't be him. Like, God forbid the kid starts behaving. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just it missed some of that connection. This feels like it's a decent movie, but it feels like it's like 85 to 90% done. Like an 85 to 90% completed story that's just missing a few elements here and there to really kind of tie it all together. I think, personally, but it's not to say it's a bad movie. Like I said, it's a cute film, visually stunning. It's missing a few of those connective pieces that really help you connect emotionally, that that historically they've done a much better job at doing than they do in this film. Not to take away from the overall story. It's a fine story. It's easy, kind of formulaic paint by numbers. I don't think it's worthy of a lot of the slamming and criticism that people had for it when it initially came out, but it definitely doesn't have the same emotional punch and oomph that you've gotten from other Disney Pixar movies, especially recently too, where they feel like they had been on a bit of an upswing here, where I feel like it's not a full step back, but maybe like a little shuffle backwards, just a little bit on this film. And that's a little disappointing to see. I could be completely missing the mark on it, but it just felt like it didn't get me, like it didn't tug on my heartstrings like I was expecting it to.
It also had something like 6 to 8 different writers working on it, along with like 3 or 4 different directors and stuff. So you don't know if some of that emotional impact and things like that changed because it had too many hands in a cookie jar for a movie. Like for a TV show or something, that's pretty typical. For a film, having that many hands in something can definitely lead to some disconnects of the story. Like, it's not a bad film. It's just not fully what you expect from Pixar. Like Pixar back in the day, when you went and saw it, you know you were getting a slam dunk home run, like pretty much near perfect animated film that you're getting. And that's changed because, well, I mean, Disney bought them. They've had a lot of changes, but COVID did really hurt them a lot. Like Disney deciding to put all Pixar films to streaming and the effort that they've put into them, they've had theatrically more misses than hits lately.
Sure.
But, I mean, you had Inside Out 2, which is
phenomenal.
Highest grossing animated film of all time now. Fantastic film. You had Elemental, which is a fantastic film. I actually enjoyed that one the more I've watched it with my kids. That it has really the heart and emotion and love and connection and stuff. It's really good. This one could have a different feeling watching a little bit more. I just said it's kind of missing that Pixar heart. It's got some emotion to it. It's just missing that Pixar heart.
Yeah. Like I said, it feels like it's like 85 to 90% there. Like you're expecting 100% there. And I think for me, it didn't connect like some of their previous installments had. Like I said, we're not knocking the film. Like it's a solid movie, but it just, when you're going to see a Disney Pixar film, you're expecting like a 9 or 10 film. And I don't think we're going to get there, but it's still an above average movie. Like our nitpicks are based on, what our expectations are for a Pixar film when we go and see it. You're expecting the tug on the heartstrings. You're expecting to tear up a little bit. You're expecting to, really connect with the story emotionally. And I think they just ever so slightly missed the mark on this. That maybe going back and watching it again, I could feel a little bit different about it. But for whatever reason, for me, it just didn't have that connection that I was hoping for to come out of it. But in the end, it's still a solid film.
So Elio is a good family entertaining film. It's beautifully animated, good sound design, everything else too. It's just kind of missing that Pixar heart. It doesn't have that same. You're dealing with a kid who a lot of us, even adults, can connect with, feeling lost, that you don't fit in, that you don't have enough friends or people that like you, or you just don't fit in with your family. And there's a good core with that, but I don't think it really paid off as they wanted to with that core heart of the story. Like, you get some growth of the character towards the end and stuff, but it's missing that little bit of Pixar heart. I'm going to give it a 7.5. That does include a little bit for my kids, as I always do with the family stuff. They enjoyed it. The kids loved it. They're not going for as much the depth as the adults do at times, but it's still a fun, solid film, but it does have its problems.
Yeah, for sure. I landed on a 7 myself, so it's interesting that we kind of land in the same ballpark on that. The visualness of this film, the visuals are stunning. They save a lot of things in this film. It feels like a very formulaic paint by numbers. It's a cute film. Like, it's a cute movie that I think, young kids are going to connect with and have fun with and watch and enjoy. I think it just missed a little bit of that mark for me that I have to knock it down to about a 7. It's still an enjoyable movie. Will I watch it again when it comes on streaming? I'll give it another chance to see if, maybe I can connect with it a little bit more, but it didn't pack that oomph and that gut punch and that tugging on the heartstrings that I really expect from a Disney Pixar film. That unfortunately knocks it down a couple notches for me, but I'm willing to give this film another chance just to see if I can maybe connect with it a little bit more, and maybe, if I see it under different circumstances. I had a little bit of a stressful week myself, maybe seeing if I can watch it with a little bit of a clearer mind and maybe a little more emotional vulnerability, that I may connect with it a little bit more. But upon my initial viewing of it, it just didn't quite hit that same way that a lot of other Disney Pixar films have done for me. So for that reason, I'm giving it a 7.
Yeah, and it all makes sense. Like, it is right on the cusp of being something really good. It's just missing that little piece that it needed, and that to me is the heart of Pixar. Like it's just kind of missing that heart, but we'll see if it ends up having a run like Elemental did, that it may not start good off the gate, but it could have a long run. But Elio is in theaters right now. Please go check it out if you have any interest in it. If you're struggling with the cost of anything, go check out your theater's discount days and see when they bring the price down on that. That can be a great time to take your family out when it's a little bit cheaper. But if you had interest in this film, go check it out and make your own opinion of it, because you could absolutely love it. That's the thing. Everyone has different feelings and opinions on it. I'm looking at it from being my family side. You're looking from your side. We can all see it from different ways, but go check out Elio. Let us know what you think. Again, come to our Discord or comments. Let us know, and we'd love to talk more about it. If you saw a little more depth and something out of it, we'd love to discuss that with you.
Yeah, we love being told we're wrong. Come for us. If you've seen some of our TikTok comments, they don't always agree with what we say. I love that. I love that discourse. Let's talk about it. If you think we missed it and you think they knocked it out of the park, please come let us know. I'd love to talk about it with you. To find all of the episodes of We'll Bring the Popcorn, go to our YouTube page, hit the like and subscription button so you're getting our episodes when they drop each and every Monday. If you're listening to us in the audio room on any of the podcasting platforms that we're on, please don't forget to give us a 5-star review. It really helps elevate the profile of the show. And don't forget to go to willbringthepopcorn.com, where it has all of our archive videos, all of our social media information, as well as our merch store, so you continue to support the show in that way. We cannot thank you enough for your continued support.